Wicked Queer is the new name for the Boston LGBT Film Festival, which celebrates films by, for, and about lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender communities. Now, in its 32nd year, it remains the longest-running and largest LGBT media event in New England. The festival runs through April 10th at locations in Greater Boston. Heading up this all-volunteer-run festival is its executive director, James A. Nadeau. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. Thanks for having me.
All right. Now, first of all, why the change of the name?
It is something that we've discussed for a while, and I won't go into the huge story. We thought the term was funny, and very
Definitely
much
Bostonian.
very much a colloquialism for the city and for New England. And a lot of it is representative of a generational shift. I think younger people are taking on the term queer, and I think it's a far more inclusive term that allows straight people who don't feel particularly straight. I think it's as an all-encompassing term. I think it's a bit more wide.
Right, and then also you see the letters getting expanded, and you say, "Oh, am I politically correct?" Isn't there supposed to be some? It's not just LGBT. There's longer versions of that, right? So it gets a little bit confusing.
And that's part of it too, is that we feel like anybody under 30 prefers to be referred to as queer. I think it's just a generational shift.
All right, now this is your 32nd year, so that makes you somewhat venerable. How do you keep it fresh? I mean, or are you not looking to be fresh? Are you trying to do a scope of things like retro or what?
I think the festival, by its very nature, reinvents itself every year. Where we follow the trends in filmmaking. We show what's out there, and so queer film is always evolving, and stories are always being told in different ways. And so it's by its very nature, it's going to change.
All right, but most film festivals from Boston sort of share films, or take films that are also shown in other cities. That have been. How do you go about selecting the lineup for here in Boston?
Well, a lot of the films we're doing this year came from Sundance. My team, there are 3 of us, we go to Berlin every year, so a lot of the films will come from the Berlin Film Festival, and which gives us a bit more of an international scope. So we tend to sort of ride the festival wave from the bigger festivals.
All right, now can you give us an idea of some of the films that you're going to be showing this year?
Sure. Opening night is a film called Viva, which is an interesting sort of take on globalization in that it's directed by an Irishman. It is produced by the Irish Film Board, but it involves a story that takes place in Havana, Cuba.
I see.
And it premiered at Telluride and then played at Sundance, and so we're the first LGBT festival to be screening the film.
Wonderful. What other, do you have like a mixture of documentaries and comedies and raunchy porn or what?
Funny you should say that, actually. There's a film called Theo and Hugo. The French title is quite elaborate, but we've sort of truncated to Paris 559, which is a time frame, and it takes place. It starts in a sex club in Paris, and the first 20 minutes of it are very graphic. And then the film sort of evolves into this story about these 2 people. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the film Weekend, but I call it Weekend if made by French existentialists.
I see. So now, is there none of these, or was that a comedy? I mean, do you have satirical pieces?
No, it's not. That one is definitely not a comedy. Yeah. We do have. I think it's it is a dark year for film. I think people are dealing with complicated subjects. But we definitely strive to have the comedy, the romantic comedies, the date night movies. I think those are films that not everybody wants to see a very serious film. So,
but how about documentaries? Do you show them too, or?
We do. We're one of my favorite films is a documentary called Danny Says, and it involves a man. He's in his 80s now, but he is a Brooklyn Jewish gay man who grew up in the 50s. And ended up becoming the manager of the Ramones, and he has his life story is just really, really fascinating, and he's a great character, and so that's one of my favorite documentaries.
So overall, how many? You have quite a run of like 11 days or something. I know there's some opening parties and stuff, but you spread it out. Also, I noticed that you had a greater geographical. You screen films outside Boston as well, right?
Well, we do Boston and Cambridge. I think we're in the midst of expanding beyond Boston into maybe Providence or Worcester. I think it's.
I thought there was some North Shore, South Shore place, but maybe not.
It's been, certainly we've done one-off screenings,
Yeah.
but as part of the festival itself, we were pretty much Boston and Cambridge. But
All right. Now, what should people know? Are there parties connected with this, or?
we do opening night parties. We partner with the Welcome Committee. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that group, but they're a big dance party group, and so we partner with certain organizations, and we do events for filmmakers and for our community.
All right. Finally, do you have guest, artists people that were in the film or in some films, or that you?
Oh yeah, we certainly it's one of our goals is to bring filmmakers to Boston. I think it's important to see a film with the maker. I think it makes the screening much more special. I think the filmmakers like it.
You have talkbacks then?
Exactly. Yeah. It's a huge part of what we do. I think what makes it a festival. You kind of want to interact with the filmmakers.
All right. So it starts later this week, and so your website is where people should go for details on every.
Yep. Go to our website, wickedqueer.org. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. Join our emailing lists. We send out notices once the festival starts. We're pretty much daily giving you updates on what films are playing, and we send out suggestions. And if you like comedies or if you like romance, we'll help you. We'll help you find the right movie.
Well, you're one of the great film festivals here in Boston that attracts people outside even what the title says. And this is just a great name change, and I'm sure it's important of good things to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you.